Hi, this is Bob Scully, and welcome to another edition of The World Show, the Entrepreneurs Series. This week, one of North America's great entrepreneurs, somebody who succeeded, they say that about entrepreneurs, in making something out of nothing and something pretty big indeed. He's on all the continents. He's conglomerated companies in high-tech areas and different areas of the economy, in finance, and he seems to do it effortlessly. But he knows what he's doing. There's some lessons behind that. There's wisdom behind that, and he's going to impart it now. Here is Louis Lagasse. Louis Lagasse, you have accomplished so much. When people read, it's single-spaced. It goes on for pages and pages. The companies you've built, the companies you've bought, the companies you've conglomerated. And it's fascinating to see how you did it. But first, how did it start?
Well, as you may know, Mr. Scully, I was a practicing notary in Quebec, which is like an attorney in the United States. And very soon after I took my law degree, I read law in Canada, I took an MBA degree, and it opened me to the business world. And ever since I was at the business school, I thought that in communities we ought to bring some contribution to the real economic development of our region. And I'm from my family from both sides. We've been in Sherbrooke, Quebec, of all places.
Small town.
Small town, about 150,000. 2 nice university, 22 golf courses, 25 lakes. So I'm just sponsoring for Sherbrooke now, but they're a great area, very interesting. And it always bothered me that we as notaries or lawyers, we were not creating the wealth, but living on the periphery of wealth. And I thought it would be great to contribute. So one morning, the thing started in 1983. It's a long time ago because I'm now 63 and I've had about, I would call about almost 30 years of presence in the business sector, starting businesses, coming very close to the brink of bankruptcy a few times, and then waking up the next morning and seeing light at the end of the tunnel and say, maybe we could try this. So I've been through that many times, yes.
And it started with, correct me if I'm wrong, because again, there's just so much in there. It started with circuit boards?
Yeah, well, the government was a little worried that there was not much job creation around a great institution we've got in Sherbrooke, which is Sherbrooke University, which is a great electronic school engineering department. And one morning I received a phone call from my member of parliament, Mr. Rancourt, he was the president of the National Assembly in Quebec City, and asking me if I would contribute to the creation of a business that could make pieces of electronics for the industry. Well, from that initial yes, which meant 25 grand to invest into a feasibility study, while less than 20 years after it was a $2.5 billion company that was worth in the market $8 billion.
That's right, and there's a jump right there. But I gather you do it in stages. You take clients, you bring the clients, then you bring the financing.
Exactly.
Then more clients, then more financing.
Yep.
But I mean, why do people always listen to you? How did you have a magic touch to convince them? Well,
I think you have to be natural to yourself. I always pretend to say that I'm good at some things, not good at other things. Like I'm not a good manager, but I'm a guy of idea, of creativity. And in this thing that was called CMAC, it was putting together entrepreneurs, of which I was, with some partners which I've angeled to put together. We had university people with lots of knowledge available to create this company. We had one customer, the now defunct Nortel, that didn't have any Canadian supply. And then we had government help to put all that together. So I like these things. This is my type of strength, creativity in putting things together to start them.
So Nortel, for instance, didn't have any Canadian input. And you satisfied a need just by...
Exactly. They did not manufacture what we did for them. They used to supply themselves out of Britain and out of Japan. And we told them that we could do as well. Very boldly, we said, we can beat them. Just give us the order and we'll manage to beat them, which we worked very hard at, and we succeeded, very much so.
But if you're not, for instance, you're a notary, you're not an engineer, you make a promise like that, when you go back home to the office, you must be scared and think, how am I going to do this? How do you put you...
What keeps me alive is challenges, impossible things to do. And there's nothing like an impossible challenge to create ideas and ways to do. And also you need people to do that. It's not just in the mind of one person. You need people that have the ability to execute. You can have the idea, the concept, the big plan, but you need to have great, good very loyal people around you to execute the plan. So that's very, very important. So Nortel didn't have that. We said we could supply that, and then we've put together all the elements to create a first manufacturing plant in Sherbrooke that was in the hybrid microcircuits technology, which is a small ceramic board that's printed with serigraphic process and then trimmed with lasers and what have you. It's very complicated, but we managed to do it. We managed to get that at the best price. We managed to beat the Japanese, to beat the English, and at the end of the day, we got most of all of Nortel's supply requirements in these products.
And these competitors, they didn't try to crush you at first?
Well,
they must have.
They were not worried because we were small. We were small. And so we made our way, and the big thing is, over my career, I've had many friends. At the same time that I launched that business, I was chairman of the Quebec Chamber of Commerce. And I had on my board some very important businessmen that people like to be asked, can you help me? And after I'd made that decision, you know, and came back to the office and said, Jesus, what did I promise there? Then I had to take the phone and call and ask for help. You wouldn't believe how much people love to be asked, can you help me?
Why?
Because people like to see somebody that has enough humility to say, I need your help. And people like to give. It's not obvious, but people like to give and like to say that they can be nice and good to people.
And so they helped you to put this together.
Yeah.
But, as you say, you nearly went bankrupt. So obviously financing. Let's talk about that. How did that happen?
Well, as I said, you need to have the right people. And we had a few elements. We had university knowledge. Now, what we didn't have was practical manufacturing knowledge. So it took a couple of years, and with efficient rates of only 65%, so scrap rate of about 35%. So imagine if you do a product with a gross margin of 20%, if you have a scrap rate of 35%,
you're underwater.
Yeah, underwater. So I can tell you the first product we did for the first year, our direct costs were $212 per small piece. We had one product, and our selling price was $190. So at the end of 1 year, we had on sales, and that was not even absorbing any fixed costs. So at the end of 1 year, we had on sales of $2 million, a loss of $2.5 or $3 million. So we had to call for the trustee to come and visit with us. And the last moment, I said, well, maybe there's something we can still do, which we did, and we succeeded.